Well, this okay, I will let you guys know about something real quick. This much like Shortcut, and I think it was Guilt Trip, I believe. Those are the episodes that I watched early, along with this one, which is Meal Ticket, and I believe it was No Regrets. I didn't actually watch No Regrets again, just mainly because I didn't really have anything to say about it anyways. It's a mediocre average episode. It wasn't really that interesting or that funny to me. This one is kind of like that one, but this one's a little bit worse, and I'll get into why I think that and why it might be, at least in my opinion, it might be the worst Casagrandes episode so far. So, this episode features Ronnie Ann and Sid basically trying to get 12 is Midnight tickets. 12 is Midnight is some sort of K-pop band that they really, really enjoy. It's already been established throughout the entire series that they really enjoy this K-pop group and stuff. By the way, if you hear lightning in the background, sorry, it's Florida. We currently have like a thunderstorm rolling through and stuff. It's great. It's fun. I like it. It's fun. So if you hear lightning, if you hear me getting scared like a little baby, that's the reason. Anyways, moving on. They basically have to get into this like food truck or grub truck at the concert or wherever to sneak their way in. And this would have been interesting had they have done it a little bit better. See, half this episode is focused on them training for this guy that we have no idea who he is. No idea who he is. Haven't seen him before at all before this. Honestly, the entire thing could have just been chopped out of the episode. It really has nothing really to do with the episode aside from the fact that it helps them get into the concert. This episode just feels like a drag. It feels like there's a story going on, but nothing else is happening. There's just nothing else that's happening. I don't think I've ever said this before, but I will say it because it is my opinion about this show. I do like its humor way better than Loud House. I gotta tell you, in some retrospects, this show nails that more so than Loud House does. It could be because this show doesn't really have strong characters, much like Loud House has very, very good ones like Luna. A lot of these are ones. Alana, Lynn is pretty good too. Hell, even Lincoln, the main lead, is pretty good. But this one, aside from Ronnie and Sid and maybe a few other people they can think of, it really doesn't have too many like characters that stand out to one another. There's nothing really that stands out in this show versus, let's say, The Loud House. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all with this show. I'm saying that's good because at least the humor carries that. And it carries it extremely well. And if anything, I would want the humor to be good. Not, the characters and stuff. The characters are kind of just like, oh, okay, here's an extra thing. Here's all the characters that are good, whatever. That's what the Loud House does, and they are doing, like, story stuff now. They're doing more, like, the episode is entertaining rather than funny the entire time. But that's fine because it's the Loud House. It can do that because there's the good characters. Here, though, that's what they tried to do. They tried to make this episode like, oh, it's about the characters. You wanna see Ronnie Ann do this. You wanna see Ronnie Ann do that. To me, I watched this show, specifically this show, to, well, laugh, to enjoy myself. There's not too many episodes that I'm going to enjoy or like if they're like this, where they're just kind of like, here's a story. And even then, the story doesn't work either, because they could have been creative with it. They could have made it to where, like, oh, here's Ronnie Ann and Sid. They really are desperate to get into this concert, so what do? They act like they're gonna help this dude in this grub, like, truck or whatever, and then as soon as he leaves, okay, let's ditch him. Let's go to the concert. Let's do this. Come on, Sid, we're leaving. That would have been more interesting. That would have been way more interesting because then we would have one of those like moments where at the very end everything doesn't work out and maybe even make a joke where everything doesn't work out and then they get like karma for it and then they're like, well, we really screwed up, and that's whenever they apologize to him. But here it's just like, okay, here's Breakfast Bot and kind of like that, but it's like everything works out and the dude gets like an injury to like his foot or something. I don't understand. Sergio's a big dick, and he isn't like dick as in like funny. He's just awful. I just don't like him. He's just unlikable in this episode. I think his name is Casey. I don't know who this damn dude is running this damn truck, but he's not very appealing either. I don't like him. He's just not great. A Sid and Ronnie Ann episode is not what I expected this show to have its worst episode, like starring. I didn't expect that. I really did not expect that. Dude, I honestly saw this, like, synopsis. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy about K-pop. I won't lie to you, I'm not. I'm not crazy about it. And that's not the reason why I dislike this episode, trust me, it's not. The reason why is because you could have just done so much more with it, but anyways. Like, you had this cool episode, you had this cool idea, and it just turns into, like, some sort of half-baked episode. Like, this feels like something that should have been, like, this feels like something you would see, like, a few years down the line as being some sort of, like, behind-the-scenes, oh, what could have been? What could have been a Casagrandes episode? And then some people will be like, yeah, that's probably a good idea, because that probably wouldn't have been a very good episode to watch, compared to all the other stuff that's happened in the Casagrandes before. So this episode is a mess. It's a mess. I would make a joke referring to another episode that's coming out tomorrow, an other mess. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, this episode, I can't. It's like something happens. Like something happens. Okay, something happens in this episode. This is the best way to describe it. Something happens in this episode, but at the same time, nothing happens in this episode. That is the best way to describe this episode. You think something's happening as you're watching it. You're like, okay, maybe this is something, but then by the end, you're like, what the hell did I just watch? This episode fails on so many aspects. It's not really that funny. There's a few jokes, maybe. I think there's like two. Two. Meanwhile, Flight Plan's like amazing and funny and hilarious as hell. It made me like, dude, I couldn't breathe half the time whenever I was watching that one. That was a great episode. This one, though, oh man. I never thought, like I said, I never thought a Ronnie Ann and Sid episode could be that bad. That was, wow, that is a whole new low. I literally could, I was expecting one of, like, the side characters to be one of the bad ones. Hell, I was even expecting, like, I won't lie to you, I do like Carl quite a little bit, but I was maybe expecting a Carl episode to be pretty bad. I was expecting that one to be the bad one. But no, it's the two main people. It's the two main... Oh, man. But I think this episode could have been salvaged. Now, will I say that anyone couldn't enjoy it? No, I'm sure some people who do enjoy these characters will enjoy this. I'm sure. Anyone could. I'm just saying, I'm here for me. And that's basically all I'm here for. To tell you about my opinion. You can have your own. I'm good. I don't care. I'm just here to let you know that I'm not really, a big fan of this episode. If I praise an episode for being amazing, like Flight Plan, for example, I could have praised that one for being funny, for being great, for being the best episode of the series. I could have praised that one to high hell. But if I do that, in order to make that mean something, in order to make that, episode stand out as, I think this is a good episode, I need to tell you about the bad ones too. This one is a bad episode. It is the worst, as I said, it is the worst Casagrandes episode I've seen so far, up to this point. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and awesome. And of course, guys, I'll see you guys next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.